Right. Hey, everyone. It's been a while. Good to see everyone here, and good to see the USMNT grab 6 points last window. Zach, how we doing?
We're doing well, Mike. Not only did they grab 6 points, but we got to witness them not win 3 points in Canada, which we'll talk about. But it was a strong window for us either way.
Yeah, yeah. Good results. So we're just going to walk through kind of what's going on in the U.S. card market, specifically how it got impacted with January, and how the play on the field looks to impact some of the prices off the field. And so you can see Zach and I there. We made the trip to Hamilton, Canada, ate 2 meals of poutine,
At least.
and
At
at
least.
least two poutines. Had heard sorry or surrey from a couple folks, and
They
yeah,
were the
they're
nicest fans I've ever tried to heckle.
yeah, we had some Rob Ford jokes in there too. So good time, apart from the result. But obviously, the other two, the home games, went really well for us. And so we're going to walk through some of the players that are up, some of the players that are down, and then talk about just the hype cycle in general with USMNT and stars of the future. Talk through some recent card pickups before we look ahead to the next and last qualifying window.
Awesome. Let's get into it.
All right, so McKinney obviously cemented himself as, Nashville, like that was not that long ago, but man, it might as well be an eternity. And his high end cards are showing it. We're actually selling a couple of his high end cards just because we invested so deeply in him. And since he's up a bit, we're selling a little bit. But man, I
More
mean, you
than a
look at some
couple.
more than a couple. But you look at, and none of these are our solds, but you look at some of this high end. I mean, that PSA 10 RPA for 1700 is actually an out of 99, numbered to 99. So not even like that short print. So he's flying high on the high end. But when you look at the low end, and obviously we took a little bit of a break in tracking some of these base optic cards. But on the left hand side, you see some of the graded options. On the right hand side is just raw on shown on here. And so like this time last year was kind of popping. His raw cards were going for 30-40 bucks consistently. The 2018 Donruss optic. And now they're bouncing between like $5 to $15 depending on the day. So McKinney on the low end is still a really good value purchase for me.
Yeah, it's still McKinney's a good proxy, but he's probably even higher than we went through a pretty big pop in price this time last year, and we're still kind of setting that bottom for a lot of raw pricing, especially with if you remember last year, everyone was submitting base cards into PSA and grading and getting those, submitting a $20 card and getting a $130 card back just for the grades, which was crazy. But yeah, it's an interesting kind of gathering of pricing here, and McKinney is one of the core parts of the team, is going to be a core part of anyone's investment strategy if you're looking at these players.
Another guy, I mean, the last two windows, from an attacking standpoint, Timothy has been the most dangerous. And he's had a couple larger sales that we see here, but nothing like McKinney, nothing like some other players. And so we're still buying and selling Weah. I think we're buying and selling everybody. But like Weah's stock is just soaring right now. And he's such an exciting player and somebody who's just guaranteed on the starters list unless he can't get into a country like Canada.
Yeah, I think despite his vaccination status, I think his absence was probably more apparent than like his actual play in games 1 and 2 and 3 of the window. I mean, he was really missed against Canada because they were playing that low block, and we just didn't have any creative runs, or there weren't people kind of available that brought the type of penetration that Weah showed again against Honduras. And it's not a strong Canadian team, but he's definitely he's got to be in there for us. And his card prices have been maybe not exploding, but definitely going up since we've been tracking.
Yeah. Then on the flip side, man, I think this is like more of a conversation about the number 9 position for us in general. But I mean, back late last year, after he burst onto the scene and decided to play for the U.S. instead of Mexico, we thought we found our like drop dead automatic start number 9, and his card prices matched it. PSA 10 refractor auto, not even his rookie card. 1275 in November when he was kind of surging and going crazy. And then that same card a couple weeks ago, so not same card, but same card. A couple weeks ago, went for over 30% off of its highs. And so it was super happy to see Sargent bag a couple goals before the international break. PFOC scored a brace this morning as well. But it's wide open. I mean, who knows who's going to be there? Who knows who's going to be starting? And there's a lot to play for here.
Yeah, and if you were watching the market when these Pepi cards came out, Topps hit it perfectly when he was peaking. I think there was the Topps MLS set, Topps Chrome MLS, Topps Chrome Sapphire MLS. There were a lot of Pepi kind of it was really his second year cards coming to market, but we all saw them pop in a huge way. And I think some of that's coming back down to earth, because with strikers, you got to keep scoring. Otherwise, you're going to see this pretty significant drop off in a short amount of time. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good time to buy. And we're definitely tracking a number of his cards to see if they come in a little bit more. Especially as he's just getting, he's getting his feet wet at Augsburg. I don't know if he played today, but he's got to get his feet under him. And it's interesting timing to get it over to the Bundesliga. I think it's a good spot for him, but he's got to get playing time. He's got to get goals. Good thing is he's still super young.
Oh, lost me there.
I can still hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh. Hey, we're back. Hey. And then we got Pulisic. I mean, for club and country, he has had a very forgettable couple of months. Like, he scored some really big goals for us in the Nations League, against Mexico and Dos Acero. And luckily he got a goal. You could see the relief on his face at the end of that Honduras game when he came off the bench. But man, for club and country, it's been a rough, 4, 5, 6 months for him. And it was great to see him get a goal, but he needs some consistent play. He needs to, somebody needs to like help him find the joy of playing again. You can see it's like almost laboring to him to play. But from a card perspective, you wouldn't know that he was struggling for club or country. His card prices, this is for his holographic 2016 Donruss card, but it's been consistent month over month, like plus or minus 10%. It's been in and around that. So Pulisic, like, I mean, I'd back him to recover, but hopefully it's sometime soon.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, his prices have been consistent. As the U.S. soccer card market goes, so does Pulisic, or the other way around. I think people are still, he's still Captain America. His performances haven't been great in any way, but he's still the cornerstone of the team. I think McKennie's right there now, if not beyond him in terms of importance for performance of the team. But his prices are still, especially, and we're getting more activity on the high end stuff too. We've got a lot of his cards listed, and I think as more people get confident with the performance of the U.S. team, we're gonna start seeing more and more of his high end cards start getting taken off the market.
Yeah. There's isn't there an amazing number to 5 card out there right now? Like, there's some really high end Pulisic stuff out there.
Yeah, there's 2. One's 99,000, listed at 99,000 from Anthony over at SACC, and then I think there's another one listed at like 30,000. Those are gonna go. It's just a matter of time. We don't know when though.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some of the hype or non-hype that we're talking about.
I feel like I'm like old man, like shaking fist, but there's just such ridiculous hype around some of these players. And look, like Caden Clark looks tidy on the ball. He looks good. Like, he looks like he could be a player, but he hasn't done all that much. And I mean, he's making his move to Europe in the Red Bull system, which is awesome. But now that's even not really put on hold, but like a little bit. Like, he's getting loaned back out to Red Bulls for the New York Red Bulls for the year. And you look at his card, and it's numbered 25, and it went for almost twice the price of a guy that's starting to get regular first team minutes in La Liga, and who is a regular starter in our midfield for the national team. And I just don't really understand the disparity between these two guys. But what I would do is I'd buy me some Musa, because we certainly are.
Yeah, Mike and I send cards to each other constantly throughout the day, and it's hard to not get caught in the hype. And what you need to be able to do is kind of step back and say, if we're going to spend $400 on a Caden Clark, what else can we spend our money on? What's the opportunity cost? And when you're looking at a prospect, Caden Clark, Cade Cowell was there for a little bit. We'll talk about another one here in a moment. But like, you got to know where you get the best bang for your buck, especially looking at kind of where we're at in the cycle for World Cup qualifying and where some of these guys are playing. But yeah, it's definitely something to keep aware of.
Yeah,
here's another one.
You bring up a good point about where we're at in the cycle. I mean, like, that neither Caden Clark or Paxton Aronson here. If anybody listens to the Scuffed podcast, Brendan Aronson is our unofficial little brother on the field, and this is his actual little brother, who, again, like, all of the potential in the world, looks pretty good, but never stepped foot on the field for the national team. And a similar short print card of his with as compared to Weah's. I mean, if I'm going to deploy $300, like, which card on the screen do you want? Based on what they've done, based on what they're doing, I think it's a pretty easy decision.
And Weah's he's 20, 21, 22. It's not like he's like a veteran, like, blue chip card to go get it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, but this is my come on man section. But no, I mean, do what you will. I mean, we're still buying some of these guys, but if I'm buying an Aronson right now for big money, it's going to be Brendan, not Paxton.
Cool. Yeah, agreed. So let's transition a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about what we've been doing in the market, buying and selling. What you see up here, these are all buys, recent buys. But I think it's important when anyone's coming into collecting or investing to have a specific vision or a refined thesis, if we're calling it, about what you're trying to invest in. Mike and I started this. We were looking at investing in the top players for the U.S. men's national team that are going to be on the roster for the World Cup in 2022 and 2026. That was kind of our broad thesis, and we've continued to kind of chip away to refine that to say we're at a point now where we only invest in those guys' rookie cards that we believe in that are going to be on those rosters, and extremely low pop or low serial numbered cards. So cards numbered under 25 and under, or low pop rare cards, whether they're low population graded or like you see here, the Weston McKennie. This is his first Topps Now promotional Bundesliga card rookie. I don't know what it's not numbered. There's very, very few graded. We don't know the number, but we know that it's rare. So that's been really helpful when we do see something exciting pop up. And then we say, hey, that out of 50 card just doesn't fit the thesis. So we can continue to allocate our resources in a really efficient way. What are your thoughts there, Mike? Anything to add?
Yeah, just that we're always buying and selling. And so like, we're obviously invested in all of the cards and guys that we talked about today. And, I think this refined thesis and actually doing it with a partner, I'm so grateful to be investing alongside Zach, because like every other day, one of us sends a card, and it's easy to get excited in the moment on eBay. It's like, yeah, I'm super stoked on this card. It's rare, blah, blah, blah. It's underpriced. And then we can just lean back on our thesis. And so it's good to hold each other accountable and also focus in on something. And I love the camo. I mean, the dueling camos for Pulisic. I mean, what more American cards can you get?
Yeah, we don't have that. I think this die cut is probably my favorite one I think we have a couple more that are lower numbered than this and higher value, but that's just such a badass card.
Yeah.
All right. So along with the thesis, I think you also need to know kind of where we're at to know what's coming. So of course we know the octagonal standings. We're in second place going into the last window in March, and it's going to be a really tough window. So before getting into kind of the specifics there around the schedule, just in terms of the card market, where are we at? And with the World Cup 2022 coming in December for Qatar, we've got this really unique window from an investing standpoint. As you can see, as we're in second place, we haven't quite qualified yet, but we will be qualifying in this next window. So what does that mean? We're about to start seeing actual money and press confidently put their resources towards blowing up and spreading the word about the U.S. men's national team going to the World Cup in 2022 for the first time in 8 years. That is going to be a huge, huge tailwind for the U.S. card market in soccer, which is still minuscule compared to baseball, basketball, football. The supply is just not going to be there. We're gearing up. We're starting to put supply out there. We're holding back some cards, but it's still, this is still a great time to buy. You can assume that prices are going to be pacing hotly over the next 6 to 8 months. So, I know Mike and I are looking at, making some moves here, especially taking some wins off the table. And yeah, maybe Mike, if you wanted to give some color on either the schedule or your expectations as well.
Yeah, I mean, going away to Mexico is going to be tough. Azteca is always a challenging proposition. Then we're at home for a big one against against Panama in Orlando, which you see Panama is hanging out in fourth place. I mean, that could, depending on how results go, the first game, that could be the game that we qualify. So that's going to be a big one. And then away at Costa Rica is always a challenge, even with their geriatric team, as it is these days. But no, I mean, I think like it's going to be interesting. It's really going to be dependent on how much Fox, mainly Fox, because they own the World Cup broadcast rights here in the States, starts to pump the World Cup. Like when we lost in Canada, it was kind of cool to see Greg getting some heat on big ESPN shows.
Stephen A.
Stephen A. PTI called him out. Like, obviously, hopefully, we get there for good things at some point. But no, it's good, and so it'll be dependent on how much Fox starts pushing this thing. But man, it could be an exciting 6 months here, and then really exciting for the team. Gio came on today as a sub, so he'll be back, assuming he stays healthy, knock on wood, for these games, and he'll be a big difference maker and taking set pieces, most likely.
Yeah, we could use someone new. Although we haven't talked about it, but Luca Della Torre, I think, was just such an awesome bright spot for him.
No cards. No cards.
He's got no cards. He's got a big 0 next to our spreadsheet. I'm sure something's coming, especially with there's going to be a couple more sets, World Cup specific, that will be coming out from Panini at least. So yeah, it's an exciting time. I think, rounding this out, a lot to discuss. We're actually going to be making another video in 2 weeks. It will be our next one, February 20th. So 2 Sundays from now. So we'll be able to talk more about what we see, especially with the club teams back in session. But we'll also be announcing a rebrand, which I think is going to be very important for kind of what we're trying to put together. And it'll ideally put together a real community around people who care about U.S. soccer. I think it's going to be a real interesting dynamic when people start really paying attention and looking for outlets to have discussions and understand what's going on. And it's not as straightforward to understand how you qualify for a World Cup or what club teams are doing, and how much travel is involved for some of these players, and well as fans. Like, we just went to Canada. But Mike, any other anything you're excited about over the next couple of weeks, or anything you want to?
No, excited to share the new rebrand with everybody, and we're going to be setting some stuff up for ourselves, so we aren't so reliant on eBay. And yeah, looking forward to sharing it with you in the coming weeks and coming months.
All right. Well, with that, we'll call it off.
All right. See y'all.
All right.